I'm Brandon Strange, joined by ESPN Houston's Charlie Pallilo. Charlie, welcome in. The Rockets are 4-1 in the bubble and have been without Westbrook for the last 2 games, without Eric Gordon for all of the seeding games. Meanwhile, Harden will finish the weird season leading the league in both points and steals. This will be the 5th time in the last 6 years that he'll finish as an MVP finalist. And of course, he won it in 2018. Charlie, what's been interesting over the past week has been the stories coming out from the media, continuing to be that this is a 2-horse race between LeBron and Giannis. We heard from Draymond Green kind of echoing something that's been an interesting talking point from NBA players over the past several years, which is that Harden's getting penalized for his crazy numbers. Let's take a listen.
But I have a question. Does James Harden get penalized for the numbers that he's putting up now? Like, is everybody just used to it and that's what you expect? And so now no one kind of gives him the credit that he's deserving? I think I see a little bit of that.
So, Charlie, while Draymond is saying his choice is LeBron to win the MVP, he's openly talking about Harden's numbers being expected, if not punitive, towards his MVP candidacy. Why is it that the media can't seem to muster the same respect for Harden that he clearly gets from his peers?
Well, I would say Harden has won an MVP award. He's been runner-up on multiple occasions, also finished 3rd, I think 2 times other than that. So that he's been top 3 for MVP pretty routinely. I don't feel that he's been fundamentally disrespected by the national media. I think a couple things that are in play. To many, the style, as prolific, as historic for the period of years that Harden's been putting up the numbers that he has, it's not aesthetically pleasing. To some, the pounding of the ball, and while he's been among the league leaders in assists several times as well, so it's not that he's pure ball hog and taking all the shots. He's also efficient as a scorer when you factor in the relentlessness of his getting to the free throw line and making about 87% from there. There's another issue. Making free throws by the bucketful, not exciting. Shouldn't be off-putting to voters, but I think there are a couple of things that people go, he just has the ball all the time. Of course he's going to score some points. Well, more easily said than done. I also think that there's the lingering stink of some of James Harden's, no doubt about it, epic and undeniable postseason collapses. Not over entire postseasons, but clunker games, several of them when the Rockets' backs have been to the wall and there's been no tomorrow. And their backs got shoved right through that wall, and there was no basketball tomorrow, in large part because James Harden reeked to the high heavens in those games. So does that impact a voter here, a voter there? That could swing the outcome of a vote. But when you look at the bulk of the balloting, James Harden has not been regularly snubbed. And due respect to Draymond Green, the rightful MVP again this season is Giannis Antetokounmpo, the head and shoulders best player who may win both MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. There are 2 ends of the court that count. And Giannis doing so on what's been the clear best team in the league over the run of the season. The Bucks haven't been taking the bubble terribly seriously. So there are some who just, don't have their boats floated by James Harden. But it's not as if there's any material number of voters saying, I won't even put him on the ballot, or he's not even one of the top 10 players in the league. And for those who do feel that way, well, they're too stupid for anyone to be wasting their time sweating.
The latest example of trendy versus truth happened over the weekend when Luka Doncic threw a between-the-legs pass, and the media was just set ablaze with memes and just heralding this as an amazing feat. It was a great play, don't get me wrong. But I think Rockets and Harden fans were a little bit puzzled because this is a pass that James Harden routinely makes without the same fanfare. You know, I love to put you on the spot, so let me ask you this. Will Luka Doncic win an MVP before James Harden wins his 2nd?
Ooh, interesting question. Doncic, for what he is at 21, is remarkable. He is amazing. The Mavericks, statistically, the best, most efficient NBA offense, not just this season, but before the bubble in history by the advanced metrics. Advanced metrics, but that seems a bit much. But he is electrifying. He is, if you will, aesthetically pleasing. Luka Doncic's game also has some warts. He's second to James Harden in making step-back threes and taking step-back threes. His overall percentage at them also is no good. An element of this is that Luka Doncic, I think, has a little bit of Larry Bird 2.0. And as the emerging super-duper white superstar, I don't think that has people dissing James Harden, but Doncic has more uniqueness to his game as an international player, and again, having just turned 21 years of age. For all that, anyone who has Doncic ahead of Harden for MVP this season, come on now. But going forward, how wide open is the Rockets' window with Harden 31 next year, Westbrook 32 next year? If the Rockets aren't in the Western Conference Final, who is the Rockets' head coach next year? But I think Harden has another couple seasons window unless Giannis is just going to monopolize the thing. I'll say this. If either player wins one within the next 2 years, it's Harden. Beyond that, his name is Luka.
I want to go back to what you talked about earlier, which was the narrative about James Harden choking in the playoffs. And he's certainly, as you said, his record in elimination games, not good. But he doesn't seem to get credit for losing to one of the most successful dynastic teams in NBA history. I mean, maybe credit's not the right word there, but if James Harden leads the Rockets to win a championship in the bubble, will he get credit for that, or will there be an asterisk on it because of the situation? And second part of that question is, would any other player in the league have that same asterisk attached to it?
I think the uniqueness of the season is going to have the asterisk, at least the mental note that, wow, what circumstances. But the NBA playoff format is legit. There's nothing being tricked up once we get past the play-in the West. It's 16 teams. It's all best out of 7 series. You need to win 4 rounds to win the championship. And if, by Jove, the Rockets pulled it off, they were to go through the favored ones, both the Clippers and the Lakers, and then, say, beat a Milwaukee team that was having a 60-plus caliber win season, that would be one hell of a gauntlet that the Rockets would have won and scaled the mountaintop. So while it will be fair to note that, okay, the Rockets didn't have to overcome not having home court advantage in a series against the Clippers and or the Lakers and or the Bucks, to still have beaten all 3 of them, it would be a whopper of an achievement. You can never please everybody, Brandon. You can't worry about trying to please everybody or you just drive yourself crazy. If the Rockets win an NBA championship, it'll be a bona fide, different, but bona fide championship, as it will be for whichever team emerges in Orlando.